Good evening, good evening, good evening again, folks, and say good evening to the Brahma man. You say hi, Mr. Meow? You say hi? You say, a little bit. This is my calming cat. He's a good boy. Bestest kitty ever. This is what keeps me calm when I have to deal with an army of Karens. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual disclaimers. So thankfully, this time I didn't actually look at my TL before I jumped on here, except to see, the normal. Stop the shock. Stop being horrible human beings to disabled people. Normal stuff. Stuff I expect to see on my TL. Instead of, idiot journalists trying to convince me I'm misogynistic because how dare you support a man? Let's see here, I support my brother, my stepdad, both Army veterans. It's not internal misogyny, though. No matter what you try to say. See, I'm allowed to have affection for individuals of the male persuasion, particularly when they're in my family, whether you media idiots like it or not. But anyways, that's besides the point. All right, to the disclaimers, right? Yeah, let's get to those. In the description box, folks, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over photobombing kitty here for 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Kitten, you're going to sit on my mouse. Excuse me, interrupting you is interrupting you. You know why? You go kid. It was written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they didn't remove it from the website. Well, folks, NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. Also included in there is a link to NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Also linked in there is the Ozarks First article in regards to the Agape boarding school, / now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation. Now, folks, this is a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called trouble-mill teens that has impending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and folks, that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises with full access to the boys up on multiple substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing after drag queens and trying and failing to defund public libraries to actually do his job. You got a governor that an intervention can't even fix. So, hope against hope. Get us few sane individuals too poor to get out. Help. Help. And please circulate that article on all your social media. Also included in there, as always, the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, and the ever-present Self-explanatory. Change.org, shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please use your headphones. Also, this channel, it's marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they're watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is very much advised, all right? All right, you know the drill. Trigger warning. We are about to once again descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, pseudoscience and lies, abuse and torture, apologencia, all coming from a man with a massive ego and even larger God complex. So, folks, square your shoulders and prepare yourself for the stupid, all right? All right, here we go. I refuse to allow the GED Part 8. This is another example of the MDRI fraudulently taking a very positive and supportive statement of the JRC's website and editing it to make it appear to be saying something negative about the JRC. No, it isn't. Once again, Dr. Matthew Israel is lying. Who's surprised? Anybody surprised? Any of my regulars here surprised? No? Yeah, me neither. Again, doctor, I am allowed to present a statement in it full. Mention that it is in support of the JRC. Then I'm allowed to take excerpts out of it and read it for the insane torture and abuse apologencia that it is. Because freedom of speech. Once again, I'm allowed to have an opinion and voice that opinion. And yes, even voice it loudly. And let's face it, do I voice my opinion any other way than loudly? Particularly on this? Because, yeah. I have an old saying, my soapbox gathers no dust and it's no lie. But that's unlike Dr. Matthew Israel. But let's move on here because he's doing his usual of trying to paint us advocates as the bad guys who don't know anything. We don't know anyone as bad as the kids that he faces. We've never met them ever, and we're not as bad as them, and we just don't understand, and we don't know what's good for us. I was those kids, doctor. And I can say quite clearly, with all the issues I have mentioned that I've had on this channel, if someone were to suggest to my mom to get a court order to have me strapped to that thing, your head would not be remaining on your body. I'm just saying it like it is. Moving on. This statement comes from the testimony of Ricardo Mesa, the father of a current JRC student. Mr. Mesa's full testimony is given below. Doctor, giving me the testimony of someone who drank your Kool-Aid is not the smoking gun defense that you think it is. People drink the Kool-Aid all the time. The very term comes from the... Well, you all know about the Jones massacre, right? The mass suicide. The Jim Jones. We all know about that. You have a lot of adults out there who think stupid. Trigger warning, I'm going to curse. You got a lot of adults out here who believe stupid shit. If you don't believe me, peek on Twitter sometime. There's a lot of people who believe a lot of stupid, disproven shit, alright? That's not a defense. To illustrate how blatantly out of context this quote is, the full testimony is reproduced here. Words taken out of context are shown in bold font. Notably absent from the words that the MDRI report choose to quote are words, what means something is that I have a daughter who has a life now and is happy. Is the father the one who went through the JRC, doctor? Because no, I'm tired of this. Do you have any idea how many parents have no idea not only what their kids are up to or how they feel? School shooters ring a bell, doctor? Kids hide things. I hid things. My brother hid things. All my brothers, let's be honest here, all of them. As someone with this diagnosis who's been through it, we learn pretty young how to show parents what they want and tell them what they want to hear. In fact, that is what you insist all of us do. And if we can't, then we should be sent to you until you shock us into compliance. I can wear a smile on my face during some of the most horrific events of my life. People do it every day, doctor. I could tell you I'm happy and everything's fine. Have you ever listened to neurotypical small talk, for God's sake? This is why I find it so absolutely meaningless. The hi, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. That person literally just came back from a funeral from their brother who died in a car wreck. But they'll tell you that they're fine. Abused kids under fear will tell you that they're happy and everything's fine. They do it every single day. Okay? Truth is, folks, especially nowadays with internet and social media, you don't actually know what really is going on in your child's mind. A parent saying my kid is happy, it's not convincing. Okay? I learned a long time ago you just can't take people's words for things. Because I learned how to mask and say I was fine even when I wasn't. And that, in fact, made me detest small talk that much more. Because you're supposed to fake being fine even if you're on your worst day. Because nobody cares about what's actually going on. They just want you to reinforce the happy facade. That's for neurotypicals, autistics, disabled people, and everybody across the board. It doesn't make it true. Having read the blogs here on this channel from Jennifer Masumba, we know that a lot of these kids will force that fake smile. They will tell you that their lives are happy, they're so much better, and their lives are saved. We all know it's not true. Jennifer Masumba has said she's done these things. The other kids have done these things, especially in the before and after videos that he shows as his promotional bull on his website. They filmed the whole thing in one day, forced the kid into behavior, hit him with that device on camera, and then forced them to smile and pretend. It's called acting. It's called acting under duress, especially. Parents and others alike will believe you when you tell them you're fine, because that's what they want to believe. I had the mother that I had, thankfully. She's not autistic, but there's some traits that she does share with us, and one of those is being in a special the Tiffany whisperer. She knows when I'm not fine. She knows when I smile and lie. She always has. Unlike these parents, She didn't just believe what I told her because I thought that's what she wanted to hear. She dug in. But most of us are so conditioned to just believe the words that they are saying that we don't dig. So, Dr. Israel, you can quote this man telling me that his daughter is happy and enjoying life now because of the GED. But I know it's a lie because no one is happy to be abused. We're going to close on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and folks, please don't forget to hit those comments. I do appreciate your time. Now, I am getting ready for my very well earned dessert after a very lovely cashew chicken dinner of, my fruit snacks. Because fruit snacks are life. I appreciate your time, everyone. As always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I will see you all tomorrow with the Token 1 video. Bye-bye. And again, sorry about the bushy hair, but this is what you get after like an entire week of an army of Karens.